even without the subsidies, it's estimated by the Congressional Budget Office that the plan we put forward would lower the costs in the individual market for the average person who's just trying to buy health insurance and they're not lucky enough to work for a big company, would lower their costs by between 14 and 20%. So, Lamar, when you mentioned earlier that you said premiums go up, that's just not the case according to the Congressional Budget Office.
Mr. President, if you're going to contradict me, I ought to have a chance to. The Congressional Budget Office report says that premiums will rise in the individual market as a result of the Senate bill.
No. Let me, and this is an example of where we've got to get our facts straight.
That's my point.
Well, exactly. So let me respond to what you just said, Lamar, because it's not factually accurate. Here's what the Congressional Budget Office says. The costs for families for the same type of coverage as they're currently receiving would go down 14 to 20%. What the Congressional Budget Office says is that because now they've got a better deal, because policies are cheaper, they may choose to buy better coverage than they have right now. And that might be 10 to 13% more expensive than the bad insurance that they had previously. But they didn't say that the actual premiums would be going up. What they said was they'd be going down by 14 to 20%. I promise you, I've gone through this carefully with the Congressional Budget Office. And I'll be happy to present this to the press and whoever's listening, because this is an important issue.
Well, let
me just finish, Lamar. Now, what we've done is we've tried to take every single cost containment idea that's out there. Every proposal that healthcare economists say will reduce healthcare costs, we've tried to adopt in the various proposals. There are some additional ideas that Republicans have presented that we think are interesting, and we also tried to include. So let me give you an example. You mentioned the idea of buying across state lines insurance. That's something that I've put in my proposal that's actually in the Senate proposal. I think that it shows some promise. You mentioned that, that Mike Enzi has previously said that he's interested in small businesses being able to pool in the equivalent of some sort of exchange. So that's where there's some overlap. But I just think it's very important to understand that what we've done is to try to take every single cost containment idea that's out there and try to adopt it in this bill. What I'd like to do is to see if we can proceed and have a very concrete conversation that you guys have that you don't think are in our bill to contain costs. And what I want to do is to see if maybe we can adopt some of those or refine what we've already done in order to further reduce costs.
Mr. President, I've had
and what I'd like to do also is to make sure that you maybe suggest some of the ideas that are currently in the bill that you think are good. Because, Lamar, in your opening introduction, what I saw was, sort of the usual critique of why you thought it was bad. But as I said, we've adopted a lot of the ideas that we've heard from your side of the aisle. So I hope maybe you could say, well, those are the ones that we think are good ideas. Here are the things that we think are bad ideas, as opposed to just painting in broad brush.